Hi, this is Sue for Parkies and Me, my journey with Parkinson's. You know, sometimes you just have a very strange day and things happen that you weren't expecting. And today's been one of those days. We've been trucking along, waiting for our renovations to be finished. Workmen here, there and everywhere, and things are just starting to calm down. But our thoughts have very much been on getting this work done and getting back to normal. Anyway, that's where the normal stopped and something really strange happened. So we moved into our house 4 years ago and we had 2 cats. One of them was Gidget, who had been my son's cat that we inherited, and the other one was her sister Millie. They were part of the same litter. And originally we had Millie and her brother Chaz, but Chaz was rehomed for various reasons before we moved out of our previous home. Anyway, so Millie and Gidget came with us to the little flat that we rented while we were looking for another home, and they lived in a sunroom, just the two of them, with litter boxes. We couldn't let them outside lest they escape. And then finally we had our house all ready to move into, and Millie and Gidget moved with us. Now we know that you need to keep cats in for a while till they get settled, and you don't let them out too soon. But at about the 2-week mark, unfortunately, Millie got out the door and then consequently jumped over the fence and was never seen again. We did all the normal things that you do. We looked up all the lost pets pages. We called all the vets. She was microchipped, so we thought if anybody found her that they would bring her to the vets and we would be able to be reunited. So we tried to do everything in our power to find Millie and have her return home, but it was not to be. And then after a while we came to accept that we would never see Millie again, and I always kept in my heart the hope that some lonely lady had found her and given her a home. Now, Millie and her sister Gidget never did get on, and would just manage to tolerate each other when they were in the sunroom and the rented cottage, but definitely wasn't a match made in heaven. And we used to say if Millie did turn up, because she'd been gone for a while, that Gidget had ruled the roost, and Gidget would probably chase her off, and if she didn't chase her off, would probably give her a hell of a time. So today we get this phone call from one of the local vets, completely out of the blue. And they said the name of the vets, and they said, "Do you have a cat called Millie?" And I went, "We did have a cat called Millie, but she's been missing for years." And we worked out that she had been missing for 3 years. So it was within 2 weeks of us moving into this house. So Millie had been missing for 3 years, and a lady has been feeding her for the last 6 months, trying to gain her trust till she could be caught, to be taken to the vet and her microchip checked. Hence, microchip being checked and the phone call asking about whether we had a cat called Millie. So Millie is 15 years of age, has been living rough, been a bit of a hobo, sleeping God knows where, eating God knows what, for 3 years. And having just unfortunately had to have her sister put down due to major health issues. We drove to the veterinary service, very sad, very emotional, with the thought that because our life is too complicated now with all my health issues, we're not in a position to have any animals now. And looking at something that no pet owner wants to really consider, unless they absolutely have to, looking at having to have Millie put to sleep. So it was an emotional drive to the vets. So anyway, we get to the vets and we say who we are, and we start to cry. Well, I started, then I think my husband was trying to be stoic, but he wasn't much better. And we said, look, we're not in a position to have her back because of my health issues and various other things. Things have changed in the last 3 years. And we said, what can we do? And they said that the lady who had brought her in had said that she hoped if we didn't want her returned to us, that whoever the owner was, if it didn't suit the owner to have her back, that she would love to have Millie and make her her own. Cue another set of tears as we agreed that that would be the best outcome for Millie. And we're so grateful that the trip to the vets that we thought was going to have one outcome has had a very happy outcome for Millie. So it just goes to show we all need to hang on to hope, that just when things are getting to the point where we think there is no hope, that we need to continue to have at least a glimmer that something good will come out after all, that the outcome may not be as bad as we thought, or maybe, given some time, there might be more medicines, more treatments, and dare I say it, a cure for this ailment that we have called Parkinson's. You never know. If you're patient, if you do the things you need to do, if you don't look too far into the future, but you always have hope that things might just turn out happily rather than the dire consequence that you thought you might be facing. We are so pleased tonight that Millie has found somebody to love her, who will give her a warm home this winter and will care for her until her time is up. So she now has her retirement home organised, and we hope she has a happy retirement. Millie was much loved by us for 11 years, and for whatever time she has left, she will be much loved again, I'm sure. So yes, never give up on hope. Hang on to hope. Never say never. You never know what outcomes might be just around the corner, and they might be a great outcome instead of the dire one you might have predicted. This has been Sue for Parkies and Me, my journey with Parkinson's. Kia kaha, be strong, be brave, be you, and have a happy life, our Millie.